Hi everyone, I'm Yolie Barrozo, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this adorable spider quilt right behind me. It's spider wall hanging, and it's made with grid interfacing. So it's made with 2-inch squares. There's no pinning, there's no matching seams. It's very fast, it's very easy. So let's get started. Let me show you what you're going to need. You're going to need gridded interfacing. The one that I have here is a 1.5-inch finished, which means your squares are cut at 2 inches. Okay, I'll talk more about that in a little bit. You'll need a diagram. I have the spider diagram here. You'll need a light colored background. You'll need black. The one that I picked here has some light spots. And it really reminded me of like the hair on a spider. That's why I picked that one. Very subtle. You need just a little 3-inch square of red. You're gonna need a glue stick, some sharp little scissors, a rotary cutter to cut your strips. You'll need a ruler. I usually have a couple of rulers just in case I need them. And of the black squares, you're going to need 10 black squares. You're going to need 56 light background squares. These are all 2-inch squares. And you're going to need 40 half square triangles. The half square triangles, I made them by cutting 2 3/8 squares, one black and one background, and then I marked them down the center. I sewed it on each side of the line, and then I just chain pieced them. I chain pieced them like you can see here. I left these here so you can see them. It goes really quick. Then you cut them down the center line. You iron them to the dark side, and then you cut off the little doggy ears. I'm pretty sure everybody knows how to make those already, and this is what you get. If you cut them at 2 3/8, if you cut these squares at 2 3/8, you're gonna get a 2-inch half square triangle. Okay, so you don't need to trim it or anything. Okay, so let's put these aside. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to put the diagram here, put this here, put this out of the way. Set up my little blocks here. So this is the diagram. This is the interfacing that I was mentioning that you need. This one here, like I said, is from 10 Sisters. This is 10 Sisters. This is what it came in. This is what it came in. So it's from 10 Sisters. It's 1.5-inch finished. 1.5-inch finished means your squares need to be cut at 2 inches. And it says it right on the panel. 1.5-inch finished. Use 2-inch cut squares. But also Palon makes it. Bozai makes it. And I don't know if there's other companies that make it. So you cut your squares according to the size of grid that you have. I happen to have this 1.5-inch finish, so my squares have to be 2 inches. So also what you're going to need is a large ironing surface, and the reason for that is once you start laying down your squares, they will move. Anybody walks by, or if you want to pick it up to take it to go iron it, your squares are going to move. So that's why we use the glue, and the glue does help. But just to be on the safe side, try to have it already on the surface that you're going to iron it on. Okay, so let's get started. So you'll need your diagram, your spider diagram that I have here. And I just wanted to mention that this spider diagram I got from Monica's Quilt and Beads. So this is not my pattern. I went to her quilt run, and she was giving it away for free. So she gave us the pattern plus a fat quarter. So that's what I'm showing you today. It's Monica Quilt and Beads pattern. Okay, So the first thing that I do is I'm going to go ahead and mark some glue on each square. And you probably can see my squares because my background is dark. But I want you to see that there is a grid on here. And make sure that you're working on the shiny side, the side that's fusible. The other side is smooth and it doesn't have any glue on it. So make sure you're not on that side. You're on the side with the little bumpy stuff. You're on that side. So I'm just gonna take put some glue on there just to show you real quick how it's done. And then I'm gonna go by the grid. I'm working upside down so you can see what I'm doing. So first it calls for I should work upside down, huh? Wow. 2 background, and then it wants 2 half square triangles. Since I already put the glue, they're sticking on there, and then it calls for 1, 2, 3, 4 of these light ones again. So you just continue to follow the diagram just the way it is here. It's super fast, super easy, guys. If I go here, so if I go here, this one here is a half square triangle. It goes like this. Okay, so if you notice, all I'm doing is I'm just following the grid. I'm going to do all one line and all the next line. So let me show you how it looks once it's done. See, if you pick it up, since I have the glue, they're sticking, but they're very easy. They can easily fall off, see? Just like this. That's why you need to have a large ironing surface. Large enough for your project. And if you don't have one, maybe you can work in sections. But let me show you what it looks like once it's all fused together. So here she is. She's so cute. So I kind of ironed her lightly before we started the video, just so that she could already be done. But I want to show you how to iron the spider once you have all your squares down. So the proper way to do it is you're going to want to get your iron and go maybe 1, 2, 3. The iron's already hot. 1, 2, 3. And you keep going. 1, 2, 3. You pick it up and you put it down. You pick it up and you put it down. Pick it up, put it down. You're gonna do your whole project. Another thing I wanted to tell you, if you notice, I cut off all the edges, all the excess right here. I just left the project because you don't want the glue to get on your iron. Once you have it all ironed down, it's gonna stay. They're not gonna move. It's gonna be on there. It's gonna be fused. Okay. The next thing you're gonna do once you fuse it is you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it, and you're gonna sew it vertically, right sides together. Okay. You're gonna sew it vertically. Let me show you how to do that real quick. Get this stuff out of the way. My iron on the side. So here we go. So we're gonna iron her vertically, okay? So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to put right sides together here, and you're going to sew a 1/4 inch down. Okay, I have my 1/4 inch foot on my machine, and I'm going to start off slowly. Start off slowly. Don't want to start off too fast. And make sure you're doing 1/4 inch, and you're grabbing the fabrics underneath and on top. Okay, now what I wanted to show you, what I do next is, I don't go back to the top and sew it this way, because I'm afraid it's gonna bow at the bottom. I know one of my projects did. So what I do now is I just come back up this way. I just make sure that I'm not grabbing it from the bottom here. Just turn it around and I sew right back up. Right back up. Another 1/4 inch. Just make sure that you're not grabbing it at the bottom. Then you do the same thing. The next row, and you just keep doing it all the way across. You're gonna sew it down vertically. Then you're gonna turn around, you're gonna come back and you're gonna sew it horizontally. Okay, but before you do that, I wanna show you what you need to do first. You need to take your scissors and cut at every intersection right here. Don't cut the seam, just cut up to the seam. You're just gonna cut like this. Let me show you. Just like this. You're gonna cut just like that. All the way across, all the way across. And the reason you're gonna do that is because when you sew horizontally, you want your seams to nest like that. Okay, you're gonna iron it and then you're gonna sew back across this way. I'll show you just real quick on this one, because you have to have it all sewn across. I'll just show you one on this one square. And it should be ironed. Don't just put it on the machine like I'm doing right now. Okay, so here we go. So let me show you here. See, now we just took it off the machine. I just sewed the one square, and it's gonna nest really nice right there. And it's because you cut these, you cut the seam. So you're gonna do that on all the way across. Okay, I'm just doing it on this one so you can see it, how it nests nicely. Okay, I'm gonna pull out the one that is already done so you can see what it looks like already finished. Okay. So here you go. There she is, all nice and done. She's already been pressed. So I'm gonna flip her over so you can see the back. And this is more or less what I was talking about. All the seams are going one way, they're all going opposite. All of the seams are nesting. You can see all the seams here are nesting all the way across. Okay, you didn't have to do any pinning, you didn't have to do any matching. All you did was lay down a grid, lay down your 2-inch squares and your half square triangles, and that was it. So now for this little spider, what you would do is you would square it off, and then you can do anything you want to it. You can put borders on it, you can make a pillow out of it. What I did on mine was I added 2-inch strips, or a 2-inch strip border, and then on the top I put in I believe it was a 1-inch black strip, And then I embroidered the word spooky on a 6-inch strip, and I just sewed all of those together. And then for the quilting, I embroidered some spider webs on there, and then I embroidered I did stitch in the ditch around her legs, and then I did some meandering. I did some free motion meandering. For those of you that don't have an embroidery machine, I'm including the letters for the word spooky, so you can applicate them if you wish, or if you want to just leave it without a saying. It's up to you. Or if you want to do Happy Halloween or anything, it's very versatile. You can do whatever you want with it. So this is grid interfacing. I wanted to show you 2 other projects that I did during this process and learning this grid interfacing. I did this pumpkin. This pumpkin, the pattern for this pumpkin, it called for 2 panels, and it was a long pumpkin, and I didn't want it to be that big, so I just laid down my squares. I got my 2.5-inch squares. They were leftover scraps from another project, and I just started shaping it to the way I wanted it. I wanted a round pumpkin, the traditional round pumpkin, and then I just cut out some leaves from a batik that I had, a trunk, and these I appliqued on top. So first I did the pumpkin with the white background, and then I appliqued these on top. Okay, that was how I did that. And then I just did meandering all the way around just to do the quilting. That was it. And the other project that I did was this spool. This I kind of followed the pattern to size, and then I just took leftover scraps of my Frida fabrics. This is Frida. These are all the same fabric. This one. They're just little pieces left over from other projects. My little Day of the Dead fabrics. So I just made sure that the 2-inch squares, that it would fit a 2-inch square. My little pieces here, just kind of fussy cut them. And it's a good way to use up your little scraps that you have left over from other projects and you don't know what to do with. And then I also did meandering on the sides. I did a little bit of diagonal on the spool. And on here I did straight stitching just to kind of mimic a thread, just a little bit, not too much. So, and then that was it. So it's very quick, very easy. Grid interfacing, I believe, is very forgiving. It's very fast, very easy. The best thing is you don't have to do any pinning or any matching, and you can move things around, like on this spool. You can move you can move it around to whatever you like before you actually sew it down. So this is it, grid interfacing. I hope you like the little spider. I hope you try it out, whether it's a spider or anything else. There's so many projects out there. So thank you for watching.